Jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Gurudev ki jai. Ananta Guru Vaishnava ki jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, thank you for joining. Now we have Śrīmad Bhāgavatam class, which is very nicely given by Srila Prabhupada. This is very auspicious that we have assembled here to hear the glories of Radha and Krishna through the pages of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, where their pure devotees are narrating his interaction with them and the services they rendered. And Srila Prabhupada has kindly put all the glories in English for us. He has gone through painfully, list down all these glorious activities in these pages. And somehow, Guru and Krishna and Vaishnava's mercy, we have assembled here to hear the glories of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, to hear the glories of Radha Krishna and his devotees, their devotees. So let us begin our journey of spiritual reawakening by chanting these prayers, that is Jai Radha Madhava and then Hare Krishna Mahamantra, to purify our consciousness so that we can focus on hearing these glories and then we take them deep in our heart so that we can purify. We become more and more pure and we develop love of Godhead. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र श्री श्रीमद देवांगेश शिवभूति की जय। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र श्री श्रीमद देवांगेश एसी भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। ISKCON and BBT Founder-Acharya श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र श्री श्रीमद देवांगेश एसी भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। श्री मायापुर धाम की जय। श्री नवदीप धाम की जय। श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा मैया की जय। यमुना मैया की जय। तुलसी देवी की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। श्याम वेत भक्त वृंद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि बोल। All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to His Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So before we begin, I take the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas that we can hear properly and we can speak something properly, so that we can properly glorify Radha Krishna. We are reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 7. Canto 7 is the science of God. And we are on chapter 12, the perfect society, that is 4 spiritual classes. And today we are having this text 11, which is listed here. And so I will read out. Especially today's the verse is very, very important. Of course, some of you might feel like, oh, we are talking about this, but we have to talk. This is given in the pages of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. And when we go to the doctor, we have to put forward our disease openly. We can't hide anything, what we feel, what are our symptoms. And then doctor prescribes the medicines. And then we have to take that medicine. Similarly, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, the pages of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, they are the doctor for us, and they will cure our disease. So today, one of the disease is here. So let us hear properly. Itat sarvam grahastasya samanantam yate api guru vritti vikalpena grahastasya rutugaminah ita sarvam grahastasya samam natam yaterapi guru vrittir vikalpena grihasta yartu gamina itat sarvam grihastasya samam natam yaterapi guru vrittir vikalpena grihasta yartu gamina itat sarvam grihastasya samam natam yaterapi gurur vrittir vikalpena grihastartu gamina. Itat sarvam grihastasya samamantam yaterapi guru vrittir vikalpena grihastartu gamina. Itat sarvam grihastasya samam natam yaterapi guru vrittir vikalpena grihastartu gamina. Itat sarvam grihastasya samam natam yaterapi guru vrittir vikalpena grihastartu gamina. Mataji. Itat sarvam grihastasya samam natam yaterapi guru vrittir vikalpena grihastartu gamina. Itat sarvam grihastasya samam natam yaterapi guru vrittir vikalpena grihastartu gamina. Itat, this, sarvam, all, grihastasya, of a householder, samam natam, describe, yate api, even of the person in the renounced order, guru vritti vikalpena, to follow the orders of the spiritual master, grihastasya, of the householder, rutu gaminaha, accepting sex only during the period favorable for procreation. So let us hear the translation and purports by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. All the rules and regulations apply equally to the householder and the sannyasi, the member of the renounced order of life. The grihastha, however, is given permission by the spiritual master to indulge in sex during the period favorable for procreation. Purport. It is sometimes misunderstood that a grihastha, a householder, is permitted to indulge in sex at any time. This is a wrong conception of grihastha life. In spiritual life, Whether one is grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyasi or brahmachari, everyone is under the control of the spiritual master. For brahmacharis and sannyasis, there are strong restrictions on sexual indulgence. Similarly, there are strong restrictions for grihasthas. Grihasthas should indulge in sex life only in accordance with the order of the Guru. Therefore, it is mentioned here that one must follow the orders of the spiritual master. Guru vrittir vikalpena. When the spiritual master orders, the grihastha may accept sex life. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 11. Dharma viruddha bhuteshu kamoshmi. Indulgence in sex life without disobedience to the religious rules and regulations constitutes a religious principle. The grihastha is allowed to indulge in sex life during the period favorable for procreation and in accordance with the spiritual master's order. If the spiritual master's orders allow a grihastha to engage in sex life at a particular time, then the grihastha may do so. Otherwise, if the spiritual master orders against it, the grihastha should abstain. The grihastha must obtain permission from the spiritual master to observe the ritualistic ceremony of garbhadhan sanskar. Then he may approach his wife to beget children, otherwise not. A brahmana generally remains a brahmachari throughout his entire life. But although some brahmanas become grihasthas and indulge in sex life, they do so under the complete control of the spiritual master. The kshatriya is allowed to marry more than one wife, but this also must be in accordance with the instructions of the spiritual master. It is not that because one is grihastha, he may marry as many times as he likes and indulge in sex life as he likes. This is not spiritual life. In spiritual life, one must conduct one's whole life under the guidance of the Guru. Only one who executes his spiritual life under the direction of the spiritual master can achieve the mercy of Krishna. Yasya prasadat bhagavad prasadaha. If one desires to advance in spiritual life, but he acts whimsically, not following the orders of the spiritual master, he has no shelter. Yasya prasadat na gati kutopi. Without the spiritual master's order, even the grihastha should not indulge in sex life. Om ajnana timinandasya gnananjana salakaya chakshurmitam yena tasmai Shri Guruve namaha Shri Chaitanya manobhistam stapitam yena bhutale swayam rupa kadamahyam tadati swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamascha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamascha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Vashtaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Prachayane Nivishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desitane He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namasate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhu Vaivasya Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are hearing this verse from the pages of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. One may ask why we need to study or read this. Why not we talk about Krishna only? Why we have to talk subject like this, which if you do the research in many religious institutions, this is very taboo, like they won't discuss this openly. And we are sitting here, both genders sitting together, and we are going through this. So and I was listening this morning, the class, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, and it was mentioned that we have to hear from the authorized sources, and these are the authorized sources. So even such subjects matters, if we hear from these authorized sources, then we will get the actual knowledge of that subject. And that subject will then purify our consciousness. If we are because nowadays even the schools and universities, they are teaching, even the newspaper and so many other sources are teaching this subject. But we are hearing from the pages of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, so that it will purify our consciousness, so that when we hear from outside sources, we know what is right, what is wrong. So here, let us read the translation again. All the rules and regulations apply equally to the householder and the sannyasis, the member of the renounced order of life. The grihastha, however, is given permission by the spiritual master to indulge in sex during the period favorable for procreation. So here, there are many topics to discuss, even in this short verse. First of all, he says all the rules and regulations. So that means this is text 11. So we have to go back through text 1 to 10, and of course before as well. So in text 1 to 10, what are given is the rules and regulations for brahmachari. Yeah. Specifically is given for brahmachari. And Prabhupada mentions in the beginning, in the introduction of this chapter, he says, basically this verse applies to brahmacharis and sannyasis. Here he says, the brahmachari should live under the care of the true spiritual master, giving him sincere respect and obeisances, acting as his menial servant and always carrying out his order. Yeah. So what happens is, if the brahmachari person is living under the care of spiritual master, under the direction of spiritual master, then he progresses in spiritual life. And of course, we are living this material world, we may have certain desires. So then he expresses his desires to his spiritual master after certain years of the practice at Gurukul. He expresses his desires that, okay, I want to take up a different line. And that is grihastha path. I want to take up the grihastha path. The spiritual master says, okay, no problem, you have my blessings. He pays, he offers some dakshina, and then he continues his journey, not for sense gratification, but for spiritual cultivation, in a different order, that is grihastha life. So it's not that he is forsaking the orders, it's not that he is forgetting the orders or the teachings he has received from his spiritual master. During these 20 years or 25 years, of course, we start our journey at that age, 25 years. So how much important it is for us to understand these subject matters within short time, what we have, and then progress in spiritual life. So what happens? He becomes grihastha. Now he became grihastha. Does it mean that now he has, Prabhupada says, it doesn't mean that he has unlimited access to sense gratification. No, it is based on the rules and regulations. Everyone has to follow rules and regulations. It says all rules and regulations apply equally to the householders and sannyasi. And specifically, now this verse is talking about householder. Why the householder? Because the householder is given a permission to indulge in what? Unrestricted sex life? No. Regulated sex life. What are the regulations? It's given here that he has to follow what is given in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. What is that? Chapter 7, verse 11. Krishna says, that sex life which is not contradictory to a religious principle, that is, I am. So, if a person wants to marry, if a person wants to create bigger progeny, so that together they will cultivate spiritual life, then yes, spiritual master, he goes to the spiritual master, even for that purpose he goes to the spiritual master and says, he expresses his desire that yes, now I have wife, now I want to procreate through this wife, not from someone else, through this one wife. So then spiritual master says, yes, you have my blessings. And then for us, Srila Prabhupada has given what are, of course here it is written, Garbhadan Sanskar. What is that? Garbhadan, that means through the semen of husband, the wife is receiving, the husband is giving his potency, his spiritual potency. He's inviting a soul so that he will continue his journey for spiritual life. So then there is a ceremony, it's called Garbhadan ceremony. They do what? They do a big ceremony. They invite all the Vaishnavas, they invite Brahmanas, and then so many other people, their relatives, guests, etc. And they celebrate, they do the yajna, they please Lord Vishnu, they please Guru, and then they distribute prasadam. So they take the blessings and then they say, yes, we will, here it is written, that he will indulge in the sex life only after doing this Garbhadan sanskar. Then he may approach his wife to beget children, otherwise not. So this is the principle. And why it is important? Here there are so many other topics we can see. That because what is the root of this material existence? The root of the material existence is our desires. What is that? Lusty desires, to enjoy separately from Krishna. What are we trying to enjoy? We are trying to enjoy energy of Krishna. We cannot enjoy. We are not the enjoyer, we are just energy. But then we are trying to enjoy Krishna's energy. And that means we are trying to develop the mood of Purusha. Even though we as a living being, we are Prakriti, we are trying to develop the mood of Purusha. So what happens? In general, of course, in our devotee community is different principle, but what happens generally when we see they are trying to enjoy each other? The male, nowadays we have so many other varieties of this sex life, but then what is the main core principle is enjoy. I want to enjoy your body, you want to enjoy my body. But then they are forgetting, what is the main principle they are forgetting? They are forgetting that we are not Purusha, we are Prakriti. And that means that journey continues, the material existence goes on. So what happens when we come under the association of Guru Parampara, in the shelter of Guru Parampara? They put some restrictions. They say, okay, you engage once a month only for procreation. So our tendency is diverted in spiritual activities. And even this act is becoming spiritual. Now it's associated with Krishna. It's serving Krishna, begetting a children and giving him opportunity to develop spiritual life. That means now there is a connection with Krishna. And that means that desire will purify our consciousness. That desire will be pure now. Gradually it purifies. And then one day they realize, okay, now everything, whatever I have, all the properties, including my children, I offer to Krishna, in the service of Krishna. Let my son, daughter become brahmachari. Let my son, daughter become engaged in householder life, but remain on Krishna conscious path. That's what happens here. And here it is written, even the 4 ashrama, what we hear, the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Sudra. So here it is written, a Brahmana remains brahmachari throughout the life. And we have the example of someone sitting here, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, Naistika Brahmachari. So he stays throughout whole life, he stays brahmachari. But some Brahmana, here it is written, some Brahmana, it's not that all Brahmanas, no, some Brahmana may decide that, okay, I want to take up this path, then he can have one wife, and then under the guidance of spiritual master, he continues his journey. And then here it is written, Kshatriya are allowed to marry more than one wife. Why? Because the Kshatriya business is different, and we have seen previously the 4 varnas and 4 ashrams. Kshatriya is meant to do what? War. So naturally they may need more progeny so that their inheritance and their ruler will continue, the rulership will continue. So that means they may indulge, but not that they will indulge just like nowadays we see, without any restrictions. So they will also take the instruction for the spiritual master. And here it is specifically written, under the guidance of spiritual master. So we have to go through the spiritual master, we have to beg his mercy. Not that we whimsically decide that yes, I want to indulge in this life, sex life, and I want to beget so many children, or I want to indulge unrestricted sex life. So we can see some points here. In Bhagavad Gita chapter 10 verse 28, what Krishna says? Chapter 10 verse 28. Krishna says, I am Kandharva, the god of love. Yeah? Of the causes for procreation, I am Kandharva, the god of love. So here it is also Krishna is saying that the purpose of sex life is to procreate, giving a chance to, and why it becomes, because that's what the beginning, Brahmaji, when Brahmaji, he meditates, then of course he gets the mission that yes, you propagate the whole universe with children. Why? What's the point? For unrestricted sense gratification? No. All these jiva, they have come here. Now we need to give them chance. Yes, along with their sense gratification, along with whatever they want to enjoy, we want to provide the facility so that they will purify themselves and then they will go back home, back to Godhead. So that is why here it says, of causes of procreation. So the purpose of procreation is to give a chance, a living entity, so that he will go back home, back to Godhead. And of course we discussed, here Prabhupada has mentioned Bhagavad Gita verse, chapter 7 verse 11. So here, Dharma viruddha kamoshmi, I am that sex life which is not contradictory to religious principles. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada has mentioned, similarly, sex life, according to religious principles, dharma, should be for the propagation of children, not otherwise. The responsibility of parents is then to make their offspring Krishna conscious. So one may do so, that they may have children and they make them Krishna conscious. Of course, the result is not in their hand. It's not necessary that children will come out Krishna conscious, but then they will provide the facility so that they have more opportunity to become Krishna conscious. Result is not in their hand. And also if we see Bhagavad Gita chapter 6 verses 13 and 14, it is mentioned there that Dhyana Yogi, now we are talking about Dhyana Yoga. This is chapter 6. Of course, it applies for Bhakti Yogi as well. What is the main thing is mentioned there is, Krishna says, Dhyana Yogi is prescribed to do what? Completely free from sex life. One should meditate upon Krishna within the heart. So there are two things we need to do. We have to procreate. Yes, somebody is Grihastha Ashram, they want to procreate. Yes, they do so, but no, the business doesn't stop there. Now they have to take that fruit, that is the children, and then they want to give that Krishna consciousness to them. They have to try cultivating Krishna consciousness. They should meditate upon Krishna and they make the offspring meditate on Krishna. And like personally also, many years back, my spiritual master, he also said to me, don't see your wife as sex machine. At that time I didn't understand that, hang on, why he's saying like that. I mean, this is something, and it came out of blue, like the topic was going on something else, and all of a sudden I'm hearing this sentence. It's like, okay, what's the relationship? And then of course, like as I read so many these books of Srila Prabhupada, then later on it clarified that this is what, this is the purpose, that yes, wife is there to help us become Krishna conscious. Husband is there to help us become Krishna conscious. Not that we get together and then we enjoy each other. And we can't enjoy. We assume, we feel like we are enjoying, but that's just a body touching. Yeah, that pleasure is not eternal, permanent happiness. It's flickering happiness. It will come and go. And that will bind us again and again in this material world. Because that tendency to enjoy, Prakriti is trying to enjoy another Prakriti. It's not going to work. Only Krishna can. Bhoktaram Jagatam. Only Krishna can enjoy. Because he is the owner, he is the real enjoyer. And this is another point. This happened in Srila Prabhupada as well. If you read Srila Prabhupada Leela Amrit, volume 2, chapter 37, in that Srila Prabhupada has mentioned, do you know why they are worshipping me? So the point is that Pandal program finished, and then Prabhupada was walking, coming out, and then all these Indian visitors, the devotees, they were rushing to touch the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. And they were giving so much respect to Srila Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada says, do you know why they are worshipping me? And Prabhupada said, and turning to the disciples near him, he said, it is because I am free from sex desire. So, Jiva may have sex desire, but then we have to, by the association of merciful devotees and in service of Krishna, we have to purify that desire through proper channel, that Grihastha ashram. So another point came or can come, because especially we are talking about this, and then does it mean that we are against women or we are against women's body? No, we are not against women, we are not against the women's body. Rather, we are against the Vedic. The Vedic culture is against the unrestricted, unsanctioned sex indulgence. Unrestricted. Not that just like, and yesterday I was reading so much on this subject matter. Animals, they don't. They have proper sex life and they get only progeny through that sex life. Otherwise they don't. The human beings now, they have started deviating from that path. Rather now they have so many other varieties of sex life. But here the Vedic culture is teaching us that how to restrict that, how to regulate that. Not that we are restricting, not that we are depriving someone from that feeling that yes, I want to beget children. No, you continue on this path through this Grihastha ashram, and you take the sanction from Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. We want to cultivate both men and women in Krishna consciousness, and thus we give the highest respect to women. Not that we see them as a lower, that no, we give them the highest respect, that is Mata. And naturally when we see them as a Mata, then we will not develop the desire to have a sexual relationship with them. So except your wife, when we see everyone as Mata, then the purpose, is automatically, the agitation automatically is diverted into proper channel, proper way, that now she is my mother. Now she is my mother. So then those thoughts will evaporate. And it's written, wasting semen is also illicit sex. Yeah, that Prabhupada writes some purport that this is also important, that the semen has the potency to either degrade ourselves or upgrade ourselves. So if we beget progeny, then if we see the pages of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, whoever has beget children, they have done so much big tapasya. Yeah, they have gone through so much tapasya, then only they have beget children. And because if we don't properly utilize semen, what happens? Our body will become weak, our memory will become less, and then our ayushya, our lifespan will become reduced. And that's what we see in the current society. They don't have these restrictions. Especially, who will care about going to the spiritual master and then taking permission? I mean, here it says, under the full control. If one desires to advance in spiritual life but he acts whimsically, not following the orders of the spiritual master, he has no shelter. I mean, who will care for going to the spiritual master and begging his permission for such act? They will think that, oh, this is very common. I mean, what's the difficulty? I have this male body, I have this opportunity for female body. Okay, what's the problem? We have some examples we can go through very quickly. One is, there are both sides. And of course, while we are reading, we have three different audiences we can think of. One is those who are not caring for these rules and regulations, and that's what we see outside external world. And then those who are caring for such rules and regulations, they want to. They are already following and then they want to continue. And those who are in between, they want to sincerely follow, but at the same time somehow due to the external factors or external reasons, they are not able to. So what is the scope? So we can see this verse through that as well. Basically it's talking about the sex life and giving that sex life in a proper direction, that is to only procreate, and especially in Grihastha life. So we see some examples how degraded it can become if we don't properly utilize this desire, that sex life. Then what happens? We can see the example. And the lust, the attraction, the basic attraction is always there. And we can see the examples from Lord Shiva, the Mohini, Murti form. He got so much attracted. Then Lord Brahma, of course, we can see the pastime. Lord Indra, then Ahalya. Then King Yati prayed, or he requested his son to give him youth so that he can enjoy. He said, I am still not satisfied with this tendency, now I want to enjoy more. And then he got that youth, right? And then we can also see the examples from Akbar and Birbal. So one day they were discussing, and what happened? Then some discussion came up, and then Birbal said that this tendency, this attraction doesn't go away even at the ripened age, even the old age. And Akbar said, no, it's impossible. As we progress, we will give up this tendency. And there is no, Majesty, it's not like that. Because Birbal is learned in the scriptures, yeah. So then he said, okay, one day I will show you. So then one day he invites that you please come and you bring your daughter as well. And then they both went, and there was a person dying, very old age person, leaving the body. And then as soon as Akbar enters and daughter enters behind him, then as soon as they are there in the room, the old age person, his eyes went to the daughter, and he just stares at her, the beauty, because she was naturally so much beautiful. So it is only through the cultivation of Krishna consciousness this is possible, that we can purify our desire through this proper channel of Grihastha ashram under the shelter of spiritual master. Nothing wrong if one has, yes, you may cultivate properly. Don't misutilize that tendency. Otherwise what will happen? The person who is indulging in that is going to hell, and then other people are also going in the same way. Hell means this material existence. And then another example is pigeons. I mean, we can see whether it's early morning like a Mangala Arati time, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, or whether it's a morning, afternoon, anytime they will have unrestricted. And then we have another example, Saubhara Muni, yeah, just looking at fish, he cultivated. So that restriction comes through this proper verse, that all the rules and regulations apply equally to the householder. And the householder or the grihastha is given permission by the spiritual master to indulge in sex during the period favorable for procreation. It's not that just like these animals, we can just indulge unrestrictedly. And we have the positive. If someone is going through this difficulty, we have seen that somebody is sincerely trying but having not able to do it, then what happens? We have to see the positive examples. We can learn from the negative these examples which we already listed. At the same time, we can increase our faith, our determination through these positive examples. What are the positive examples? One is Bilva Mangal Thakur. If you see the history of Bilva Mangal Thakur, what happened? He was attracted to opposite sex, not once but twice. Even on the way of Vrindavan, he was attracted. He saw the Brahmana and his wife. Actually, his wife was walking in the village, and then he got attracted. He followed her, went to his house, and then he became a guest to that house. And then that person, gentleman, came out, said, okay, you are coming here, looks like you are Vanaprastha, you are going to the holy places. How can I serve you? Oh, I want to associate you with your wife. And then he realized that, oh, what am I doing? I'm on the way to Vrindavan, and now I am going through this. And then he took proper action. He reached to Vrindavan, and then he gave us wonderful book, that is Krishna Karnamrita. So, if someone is at that level, doesn't mean that their spiritual journey will finish. No, if they have to be determined to follow this path, they have to take the examples, they have to take the shelter of these great acharyas, they have to take the shelter of Srila Prabhupada's purport, that they will purify their consciousness, they will indulge that desire in proper way through Grihastha ashram and the spiritual master. Then Haridas Thakur, he became what? Did he become attracted? No. The prostitute came and then he didn't become attracted. Rather, he made her devotee. Then we have another example of Sri Yamunacharya. That is, he was the king. The king, it means he has unlimited access. And it's not that he will go and snatch women from the houses. No. These are pious kings. So whenever they go to the war, they win over the war. When someone wins over you, that means now all the property belongs to that person. That means including the queen and all the servants and the daughters. This is how they will become having more queens. So he was having that unrestricted, unlimited access. And then what happened? He became a great devotee of Krishna. And they say, what is this? Then he gave up that completely. Then we have our own Srila Prabhupada. Even though in the West, we can see on the street, we have unlimited access. You drive Uber. This is my personal experience. You drive Uber, ride sharing. What happens? Especially, I stopped driving after 10 p.m. on Friday nights. Yeah, it's just very gross. Like they want to do the payment not through money but through other ways, and we understand what ways. In taxi business, I did the taxi business as well. You go and drop them at the evening time, late evening, and then now they say, I don't have money, but I have something else. I can pay you. So the whole world is going on that. They get pleasure and they think that they are giving us pleasure. But when someone is realized in the spiritual science, then he will realize that no, this is not pleasure. This is actually burden. It's a bondage. So I have to cultivate that in proper way. That is Grihastha ashram in Krishna consciousness. And we have another example of Kardama Muni and Mother Devahuti. So that's also a very positive example. How can we say that's a positive example? Because Kardama Muni noticed that this woman, that my wife, Devahuti, has served me so nicely. and now she has become so thin and lean, and she didn't even care for her own feelings. And naturally women, they may have that feeling of begetting children. So then he said, okay, what you consider? Then at that time the point is that husband will go for self-realization. He will go to the forest. So then the wife said, oh, how will I survive after you went? So then he said, okay, now I can give you the son, and that is Lord Kapila. And then before doing that, he made her happy by going around the whole universe. And then they indulge. They have 9 daughters and then Kapila Dev as well. So this is how we can utilize this tendency in proper way. We have maybe a few more minutes. I just cover some another topics. That is a preaching and a personal, like sometimes may feel across that, especially it happens in Grihastha ashram. One is going through this, and then he is learning, and then all of a sudden he sees that. So most cases it's not about this point, the sex life. It's about the care. It's about the love. When we properly respect our companion, our wife or husband, and if we properly communicate with them, if we affectionately, then what happens? They will also see that this person is not just attracted to me from a body perspective. This person is attracted me as a person. He wants to remain Krishna conscious. He wants to lead me in Krishna consciousness. And he wants me to have this very nice, loving relationship in family life. Not that he will go away. But sometimes what happens, if the communication is not proper, then what happens? Then it leads to so many other difficulties. So, there is a proper way, that is through Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. Everything can be purified in the service of Krishna. So now it's 8:30, I stop here. If any question or comment or any correction. No question? Yes, Prabhuji? By the way, welcome. I didn't see you before, so welcome.
Thank you, Prabhu. Wonderful, detailed presentation. I was just thinking about the pastimes in Gaura Lila, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like fire in terms of renunciation, detachment, and staying away from opposite sex, and with Chota Haridas, he was very strict. He decided that he would want nothing to do with Chota Haridas just because he lustfully glanced at a woman while begging alms. And Sivananda Sen brought his son to see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, call him Puri Das, and led him, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu let the baby suck on his toe. So we see how even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is famous for being a strict sannyasi. So many examples, but when things are done properly, then he welcomed, and he was very happy and appreciative of his devotees having children, and like this, like in Krishna consciousness, the more I'm in ISKCON and reading the books, I'm realizing it's very different. Like somebody read the Vedas and they have the Vedic knowledge, but what we have is the Sankirtan Yagna, and recent examples like our spiritual master Srila Prabhupada. So in a sense, we're not like Vedic followers, but we're followers of Prabhupada who made it very accessible for us how to apply this millions of years old teachings in Melbourne in 24. So by gaining higher taste, by being actively engaged in Sankirtan mission, then even average people like us, we are able to overcome this lust. We become purified, like you mentioned very nicely in the beginning of the class, the process of purification by gaining a higher taste. Then we can transcend all this and sacrifice our life for the pleasure of the spiritual master. So that's what came to mind, but thank you.
That's a very nice point, bro. Thank you. And while you were speaking, I also recall we have one wonderful example of Bhaktivedanta Thakur. I mean, he had how many children? So many. So again, this is not against having a children. Rather, this is against about that unrestricted, unsanctioned desire for continuous enjoyment of opposite party. That, oh, I can enjoy. A woman is walking on the street, I can enjoy. That culture through the pages of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Of course, Srila Prabhupada also introduced marriage ceremony. He introduced initiation first day, and next day he introduced marriage ceremony. And they say, okay, this is how you do it. And Bhaktivedanta Thakur, he produced so many children. So the point is, there is a proper way, and that proper way is listed here in this verse. And especially in devotees communities, we cultivate everything in relationship with Krishna, for Krishna. If someone is willing to beget children, go for it. Someone is not willing to beget children, no problem. You engage more in Krishna conscious way. And that's the point, that whatever you do it under the shelter of your spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, and under the shelter of Radha Vallabha or Radha Krishna. Hare Krishna. Jai. Thank you. Granth Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Gaura Premanande. Hari Bol. Very nice lecture. Krishna, sorry.